What's up, everyone? So just got a full tank of gas. I'm just about at 3,000 miles. So I'm gonna find a nice shaded area to park, and then I'm gonna go over my 3,000 mile review. It's a hot day, about 80 degrees, very windy out. Supposed to get even more windier later on. I think right now it's about 18 miles per hour wind. Supposed to get up to 21. I got the trunk on and both of the side boxes, so that wind is really knocking me around. Look at the trees blowing in the wind. That's how windy it is today. Alright, there it is, the Tank 200 Deluxe. And I am just about at 3,000 miles. I am at 2,941, so that's close enough. Hopefully it's not too windy, but let's start with the tires. Tires are still in good shape, got plenty of tread on them. Haven't had any issues with them, no flats or anything. And I got the side boxes on and the trunk on. I don't have anything in them, but I put them on for the review. Got my quad lock on here with my phone, and everything's still holding up pretty well. I am dealing with one little issue that just happened yesterday. So in my 2,000 mile review, I think it was that video, I mentioned that my muffler cover came loose because I lost these two screws, and it was just holding on by this top screw and then the screw down here. So went to Home Depot, got some bolts and nuts, and I went ahead and just put a bolt through it and got the nuts in the back. It was a pain to get the nuts back there, but now this thing is solid and it's not going anywhere for quite a while. I don't have any reason to take this off. I can still take the muffler off with the cover still on it if I need to, but you know, I'm not looking to take any of that stuff off anytime soon. So this thing's solid now, it's not coming loose. So after I fixed that, I went ahead and did the oil change and the gear oil change. The gear oil I was doing every 1,000 miles. And the engine oil, I started out doing it every 500 miles because the recommendation was like 600 something. So I just did it every 500 to you know, keep track of it a little bit easier. And I did that, I think, the first two or three times, and then I decided that I'll just do them both every 1,000 miles. So I think this is the first time the engine oil has been in for the last 1,000 miles. And it really needed to be changed. So I'm going to have to go back to doing every 500 miles on the engine oil, and then every 1,000 on the gear oil. So I got all the oils changed out, and then I made a boo-boo. So this drain plug for the gear oil, you take that bolt out and it drains all the gear oil, and then you put the gear oil back in right there. Well, I always have a tendency to over tighten stuff. So I drained the gear oil and I put the bolt back in, I tightened it up, and then it felt like that it was trying to get tighter and tighter, but it wasn't. It just kept turning. It was still tight, but it just kept turning. And so I like slightly stripped out the drain hole, and you know, it was screwing in. It wasn't like it was wiggling back and forth or, you know, slipping in and out. It screwed in. It just won't tighten. So I got some Loctite, and I put it on there, and I put it back on there. So that's just a temporary fix for now. It'll still hold. I will have to eventually get that fixed. Maybe use like helicoil or something to get it rethreaded. But Loctite will keep it on there, keep it from vibrating loose and dumping all my gear oil. So yeah, that could have been a major thing that, you know, stopped me from riding. But like I said, I think it just barely stripped out the hole. And that bolt will screw on, it will stay on. But I put the Loctite on just so that it doesn't vibrate loose. But eventually I'll get that fixed. I do notice a little bit of slippage with the drive belt. So I'm gonna have to get in there, take a look at that, make sure the belt is still in good condition. And I actually just noticed that yesterday after I changed all the oils. I thought maybe it just did that, you know, shortly after changing the oils, but I don't remember it doing it any other time I changed the oil. So I think there's, you know, a little bit of belt slippage. So I'll get in there and take a look at that and see what condition that belt's in. I still need to do the valve adjustment, I think. I've said before a few times that when I start it up, I gotta let it idle and for a little bit before I hop on and ride it, because the first couple times I stop at a stop sign or a stoplight, it will die on me. It did it a couple times today. Usually I just start it up and go. So the first couple times that I stop at a stop sign, I just kind of, you know, keep it revving a little so it doesn't die. But once it's warmed up and I ride, you know, a couple blocks, it will stop dying on idle. So I think I need to do that valve adjustment. I'll probably just take it to a shop and, you know, and see if they'll do it, because I've watched the YouTube videos on it. I don't have the parts for it, you know, to do it myself right now. So I'll probably just take it to a shop and you know, let them do it. But other than that, it is still riding good. I know another thing I mentioned in my 2,000 mile review is whenever I hit a dip or a pothole, there was like some kind of scraping sound that I was hearing. It's not the skid plate, it's not hitting the skid plate. I thought maybe it was hitting the fender here, because on the other side there's a bracket and on this side there's no bracket. So I thought maybe it was hitting the fender. I still haven't figured out what that is, but I haven't noticed it doing that scraping noise for a while. I can't remember the last time I heard it. But I've also been very careful about hitting potholes and dips. So I still think it's hitting the fender when that happens. But like I said, other than, you know, that minor issue with the drain plug, you know, maybe some slippage of the belt, and you know, and needing the valve adjustment to keep it from dying when it's idle when I first started up. Other than that, you know, it's great. I still DoorDash with it. I still plan on doing some long trips with it. I got a trip planned at, I think, the last week of June, and gonna be, oh, I can't remember, I think it was like 160 miles one way, and then coming back the next day. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that trip, and hopefully, you know, this thing keeps going, because I'm just about at 3,000 miles now. I really don't ride it that much. Even when I'm door dashing with it, you know, I'm sitting in a parking lot waiting on orders, so I'm not riding around the whole time. You know, I sit there and save the gas and wait for orders. So since February last year, you know, February 2024, I just have not ridden it that much. I filled up the tank before I started today. I've been keeping track of the mileage with the trip meter thing, and it's a 1.3 gallon tank, and I've been getting anywhere from 90 to 100 miles on that tank. So still great gas mileage. I love it, and saves a lot of gas, you know, with the car, especially now that it's summer again. You know, I've been riding this thing a lot more than my car. Just want to mention that the brake pads are still good. The brake levers have not gone soft yet, so I haven't actually looked at the brake pads, but you know, still got a good solid brake lever. So I know with my 50cc, I changed the brake pads on that, and you know when it's ready to be changed, because that brake lever will go soft. So brake pads are still good. So I'm gonna hit the road again and do some more riding. So I'm pretty sure that there is a little bit of a belt slippage, because I've noticed that my acceleration from a stop isn't as good as it used to be. And right there's a little bit of a jolt. You kind of heard it in my voice when I said right there. It just kind of jerked. So I'm pretty sure that might be a belt slippage, but like I said, I'll get in there, take a look at it. I got two belts, you know, two spare belts, so if I need to, I can put one on. In case you're wondering, this scooter did come with the Gates belt, and no, it's not the knockoff that has the Gates logo on it. I've looked it up. There is a difference between the two. So this scooter did come with a Gates belt on it. The two spares I have, one is a Gates and the other is some kind of Kevlar belt. I forget the name of it. So if I do end up changing the belt, I'll try out the Kevlar one first and see how long that lasts, and hopefully it will last longer than 3,000 miles. And then next time I change the belt again, I have another Gates that I can put on. I also want to say that since it does need a valve adjustment, you know, maybe that's why the acceleration isn't as good as it used to be. I really don't know all the mechanics of these things. Just basic maintenance, oil changes, brake pads, light bulbs, things like that. So yeah, let me know, you know, if it needs a valve adjustment because of the idle thing. Is that also causing the acceleration issue? So I'll end this video by saying that the top speed is still anywhere between 50 and 55 miles per hour. I get that question a lot, what the top speed is. I'm mostly in town, so I'm doing no more than 40, 45. But when I go out of town, if I don't have an aggressive headwind, I do hit 50 miles per hour easily. And if I have a tailwind, then it'll get up there to 55. So it's somewhere between 50 and 55 for the top speed on this thing, which sucks because it advertised 62 and I really wanted to go at least 60, but it doesn't bother me that much because when I ride out of town, out on the back roads, 50 is plenty fast enough for me. And maybe someday if I have a bigger scooter and it hits at least 55, 60 easily without struggling to get there, then maybe I'll be more comfortable going that speed. But if I'm full throttle and going 50, that's good enough for me. I don't need to go any faster. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time.